Just Get Me Through This, a practical guide to coping with breast cancer. Newly revised and updated by Deborah A. Cohen and Robert M. Gelfand, M.D., with Eugene J. Nowak, M.D., and Faith A. Menken, M.D. Narrated by Susan Boyce. A note from the authors. This book is intended specifically for women with early-stage breast cancer. Yes, cancer is a terrifying word that immediately conjures up visions of mortality and unfulfilled dreams. Yet with the miracles of the modern medical world today, early-stage breast cancer is, for the most part, a treatable, manageable disease. It will, as everyone will tell you, profoundly change you and your attitude toward life. Life, not death. It will often be on your mind, just like any other chronic disease. Yet it need not diminish the quality of your long and healthy life. You will grow old, hopefully, and you probably will see the cure in your lifetime. We hope the advice and wisdom contained herein is helpful, insightful, and uplifting. Forward by Dr. Gelfand. Over the past decade, there has been a growing movement in the practice of medicine. Patient advocacy. Patients are increasingly taking charge of their own health and taking steps to be well-informed and active in decisions about their own bodies. The passive patient, with a "whatever you say, doc" attitude, is becoming the exception rather than the norm. However, in the case of a serious, complex illness like breast cancer, the proactive patient may end up confused, overwhelmed with information, and excessively anxious. The saying that "a little knowledge is dangerous" is apt for these situations. The acquisition of great amounts of technical information by breast cancer patients without medical training, from books or extensive exploring on the Internet, frequently ends up aggravating the anxiety. A lot of the questions that I get asked by breast cancer patients reflect their earnest attempts at self-education, but also their minimal understanding of the complexity of the underlying issues, or knowledge of how the information should be organized and utilized. Women with breast cancer, and their family and friends, most of all need a balanced approach to this illness. They need a basic roadmap to help them deal with the up and down journey from diagnosis into the world of the patient and back to the world of normalcy. A map that outlines the major phases of the process, offers guidance and insights along the way, and presents basic technical information in simple, understandable language. Just Get Me Through This strives for balance through the collaboration of a seasoned professional and an intelligent patient. The result is neither a technical manual to breast cancer, nor a personal biography of overcoming breast cancer. Rather, we have blended the perspectives of doctor and patient, enhanced by extensive conversations with other medical professionals, patients, and survivors, to offer readers a well-rounded, straight-from-the-shoulder view of the illness and of appropriate responses. We do not aim to be the only source of information and insight that you will need. We simply offer a foundation on which to build trusting, open dialogue, not only with your healthcare team, e.g., surgeons, oncologists, nurses, but with family, friends, and even coworkers. One of the most important and least written about aspects of breast cancer is the degree to which the diagnosis alters one's life experience. By and large, doctors do not prepare patients for more than the technical aspects of treatment. For example, doctors will go to great lengths to explain the powers of today's highly effective anti-nausea drugs, but they will rarely help a patient manage the inevitable emotional traumas, anxieties, and practical difficulties of chemotherapy. Few surgeons will discuss the fact that a spouse or significant other might have difficulty coping with the results of a mastectomy or other bodily changes, and recommend ways to improve communication to work through such tough relationship issues. And who warns a patient of the possible coldness, and even disappearance of old friends who are terrified by her cancer diagnosis because of their own issues with mortality. Yes, it is wonderful and comforting to learn from your doctor that chemotherapy and all the other conventional medical treatments available today are typically well tolerated as long as the symptoms are managed well, and that by and large most women go on to live normal lives in the aftermath of cancer. Yet it is the non-medical facets, the gestalt of the whole breast cancer experience, that most of the 200,000 women a year diagnosed with breast cancer are unprepared for. We have written Just Get Me Through This to address that need. It is our hope that when you have turned the last page, you will find the knowledge empowering, the insight balanced from both the human and treatment perspectives, and the empathy offered by the authors comforting. Robert M. Gelfand, M.D., Clinical Assistant Professor of Medicine, Weill Medical College of Cornell University. Forward by Dr. Mencken and Dr. Nowak. We are honored to have been asked to contribute to this newest printing of this very special book. In rereading the prior edition, written just a few years ago, we were sharply reminded of the progress we have made in the surgical management of patients with breast cancer. Treatments that were just a short time ago experimental, controversial, or not even conceived of yet, have now become routine. As such, we hope that our input as surgeons will be a valuable addition to Dr. Gelfand's medical input in helping patients to understand their treatment options better and to navigate this sometimes daunting process. As physicians, we do our best to educate, guide, and reassure our patients. The surgeon is most often the first breast expert the patient meets. His or her empathy, understanding, and approachability are of paramount importance. We often set the tone for the patient's experience. Our ability to communicate is every bit as important as our surgical skills. Nothing, however, can be as reassuring as hearing from someone who has made it through the journey. For this reason, we are proud to be a part of what must be considered Debbie Cohen's labor of love. Faith A. Mencken, M.D., Eugene J. Nowak, M.D. Introduction. I want to talk to you for a moment about fudgesicles. Fudgesicles? Are you crazy? I have a life-threatening disease, and you want to talk to me about fudgesicles? Can't you just help me get through this? Yes, believe it or not, I do want to talk about fudgesicles, as they actually may be very important in helping you get through the next 6 to 9 months of your life. Here's why. When I was recovering from my initial surgery, I was bombarded with advice from friends and family about books to read on cancer treatments, in order to be prepared to talk with surgeons, oncologists, and other specialists about the best course of treatment for my disease. This is the new world of healthcare, and I am the perfect model of the patient activist. I wanted to be involved in a true partnership with the doctors to make decisions about my own body and my own life. I was not going to sit there and simply be told what to do. Yet I found it wasn't all that easy. When I visited my local bookstore to begin my process of becoming an informed patient, I almost passed out in the aisleway, from terror, not from my illness. The vast majority of books were harsh, clinical reference materials, written solely by doctors, chock full of terrifying mortality statistics. They talked about how sick I was going to get, either from the disease or from the treatments to eradicate the disease, not how to manage the treatments and get well. The remainder were heroic biographies by cancer patients themselves, some survivors, some not, about their own courageous battles. No thanks. I have my own battle to contend with right here at home. I don't need to read about anyone else's right now. So, I threw away all those books and started talking to people. Doctors, nurses, survivors, whoever would talk to me. And it was amazing what I learned. What similar